Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for supporting my efforts to make motorcycle content for YouTube. It's much appreciated. So this is my very first foray into renting a motorcycle. I don't own it, I just went and rented it from Eagle Riders in Los Angeles. They're located down by the airport in LA. They've got a massive supply of motorcycles. I'll do a video at some point talking about the Eagle Rider membership club and how to rent a motorcycle in the future. But this is my first time renting from them. This is my first rental motorcycle. I'm very familiar with electric cars because I own a couple. And as you can see, this is an electric motorcycle. This is a Zero, is the manufacturer's name, and is the SRS model. So I will talk about the specs on the bike. We'll do a walk around. I just rode it back from picking it up, so I did just under 40 miles on the freeway at freeway speeds. I got some footage from my helmet cam on riding on the freeway on this bike, so we can see that as well. And I'm also planning on taking it into the canyons this afternoon to do a canyon ride on it. But I did need to charge it up, so I've got 1 hour and 15 minutes left to fully charge this thing. So I thought, good opportunity just to do a walk around, quick review, talk about the bike, talk about what I think about it at this point. I only haven't ridden it for 50 miles, and we'll go from there. So thanks again for watching. Hope you enjoy the video, and let's talk about electric motorcycles.
So before we get started on this test ride and review of the Zero SRS, I just want to put it out there that this is just my opinion. I am not a professional motorcycle reviewer or journalist in the motorcycle industry. I have ridden hundreds of different motorcycles over my motorcycling career, and I've owned over 40 different motorcycles of all different shapes, sizes, cc's, and styles. I love motorcycles. I love motorcycle riding, and I find it very difficult to find things horribly wrong with bikes. Let's get started with this particular electric motorcycle, the possible future of motorcycling, and let's talk about the Zero. Enjoy. So this is a 2022 Zero SRS. It's identical to the SRF model, except it has fairing. Taking a look at the motor underneath, this has 140 foot-pounds of torque, this electric motor. It's a 14.4 kilowatt all-electric powertrain. Front brakes, Showa 43 millimeter big piston brakes with adjustable preload, compression, rebound, and dampening. Here you can see the disc brakes and calipers. Does have integrated anti-lock braking system. Both the front wheel and rear wheel are 17-inch wheels. The rims, 3.5 by 17s. And I think they're pretty decent looking rims. You can see the battery pack, the main motor, Z-Force, and the rear shock, which is again a Showa 40 millimeter piston piggyback reservoir shock with adjustable spring preload, compression, rebound, and dampening. There's that big 17-inch rear tire. Pirelli Rosso tires on this particular bike. Love the position of the license plate on the back with a mounting bracket off the rear swing arm. Here you can see my home charging 6.6 kilowatt charger plugged in, and the TFT gauge. Very easy to read, nice color LCD screen. And if I take the keys out and open up the side compartment here, the frunk or the front trunk, you will see where the charger is kept, or you've got storage for your wallet, your water, whatever. A nice big storage bin has even got USB charge ports in there for your phone if you want it, a couple of them. So where you would normally put gas in, you got storage. And it locks. So it's a really well-designed bike. It's beautiful to look at least I think so. The fit and finish is excellent. The quality of the materials are really, really high. The plastic is thick, solid, doesn't wobble. The seats are really nice quality. I just think they did a lovely job designing this bike. It looks great. It really, really does. It's very eye-catching. It's identical to the SRF model, except that it has the fairing. So this is just the full fairing version of the SRF, which is the naked version of the same bike. Otherwise, both are the same. Got rear foot pegs for a passenger, LED high def headlights. So like I said earlier, I'm plugged in with my home charger right now, which puts out 6.5 kilowatts of electricity. The bike will only accept a maximum of like 2.5 kilowatts on a fast charger, but that will certainly give you an 80% charge in less than an hour. That's the mode button. You can scroll through the riding modes: headlight, full beam, dip beam, on your left-hand grip. Emergency lights, all of them. And then over here on the right hand grip you've got cruise control. So this is the on off button. There's no starter, there's no gears, don't forget. You just switch it on and go. It won't go with the kickstand down, and it won't go if it's plugged into charge. Alright, so let's go back in time a little bit to earlier this morning when I picked up the bike from Eagle Rider down by the airport.
Alrighty, so here we are. Just picked up the very first rental bike I've ever tried here at Eagle Riders Motorcycles down in Los Angeles, near the airport, Los Angeles International, LAX. And they've got a ton of bikes here. I'm going to make a little video about the actual rental program and also this company. So this is a Zero SRS. As you can see, I'm leaving with 93%, range of 103 miles. I'm in street road mode. Okie dokie, thanks for your help.
So I am super excited to ride this thing. No mess, no fuss, no rumble, no loud exhaust pipes, no vibrations, no gears to change. Just turn the throttle and go. Just the sound of an electric motor whining away underneath me. Look left, look right, look left again. And ease on that throttle. And we're away. So immediately the first thing you notice getting on an electric bike is the lack of gears. You don't have a clutch, you don't have a transmission or gearbox, you've got no gear selector for your foot. It's just the throttle to make the bike go. It's incredibly smooth power delivery. The way this bike accelerates with your throttle is just extraordinary. It is so smooth. Now the bike's got a top speed of about 124 miles an hour according to the manufacturer. It's got 140 foot-pounds of torque, which is enormous, but it's not scary. It's virtually impossible to wheelie this thing even if you open the throttle up. The stability control and traction control built into the bike is not going to let you do that, and I did try. Now it weighs 505 pounds. Wet. No gas in this thing. So the weight is the weight. 505 pounds. So it's a heavy bike, but you know, half of it is basically lithium-ion battery. So you've got to consider that. 14.4 kilowatts of battery storage with a capacity and usable usage of about 12.5 kilowatts of that 14.4 kilowatts. So here I am getting on the freeway, and let's see how she does on the freeway at freeway speeds. So please remember as I ride, the freeway posted speed limit here is 65 miles an hour. And as a motorcycle safety instructor, I need to abide by the rules of the road, obviously, and the speed limits, and set a good example to all you guys and girls out there watching. So you're not going to see me doing any high-speed riding and speeding. Now, I found the fairings really good for what they are. It's not like my BMW or my police bike. It doesn't give you that much wind protection, but compared to a naked bike, it gives you plenty of protection, and you'll definitely notice a lot less wind, noise, buffeting, and you'll get significant wind protection from the existing fairing and from that little windshield. It would be nice if the windshield was electric and moved into a more of a vertical position. It would take more of the wind off your helmet and head, but it does do a pretty good job of getting the wind over you and around you and reduce the buffering. So I was quite impressed with the windshield and the fairing on the bike. Alright, so safely home. That was about 47 miles, I think, at freeway speeds, 65. I went from a 95% charge, I think. I have to look back at the tape. So down to a 30% charge. And I went from a range of just over 100 miles down to a range of 18 miles. So by my math, that is about 80 miles of range when you've only driven 47 miles. So it's used 80 miles even though it's only gone 47. So obviously your mileage depends on how you ride. I was in eco mode and I wasn't riding particularly hard or fast, but that gives you an idea of how many miles you're going to get on this bike to a full charge, which they do say around about 100 with a mix of street riding and freeway riding. Anyway, time to charge this thing up. I was going to take it in the canyons, but I'm not going to take it with only 18 miles of range. So I'm going to put some juice into this and use my level 2 6.7 kilowatt charger and see how long it'll take to charge this back up to 100%. There you go, you can see me in the mirror there, hopefully. All geared up and ready to take this on its canyon ride. So it's been charging for just under 2 hours, hour and 45. I'm at 95%. It says range 59 miles, which I hope isn't right. It should have a range of over 100 miles, this thing. But it's about 10 miles from here to the canyon, and then the canyon is 10 miles in each direction, and then 10 miles back. So basically I need about 40 miles of range to do this ride. So there we go. Onwards with the experiment and the experience of owning an electric motorcycle. So off we go. Don't need this, although I do need to put my phone. Oh, it stopped charging when I did that, which I didn't want to do. I actually want to open the frunk. There you go, the frunk is open. Got some water, I've got my wallet, got my insurance documents. It's a nice little storage container, this. You should actually get a fair amount in it, and you can charge your phone. There's 2 little USB ports, which is kind of cool, so I like that. All right, 3:30 now, so I need to hurry up and get on with this ride because I've only got this bike for 24 hours.
It's a 24-hour rental. I've got to get it back tomorrow morning. So 96% charge, 8 minutes left for fully charging. I'm going to unplug this right now. Close this. Put my charger back. Side stand up. Rear brake on. Connect my airbag vest. Voila. Ignition key on. Now I'm going to set this thing up for Canyon Road. Canyon riding. Side stand up, ignition on. If you put it into mode, press and hold the mode, you can go scroll through Sport, Canyon, Rain, Eco, Standard. Alright, so I want as much fun on this thing as possible in the Canyon, so I'm going to start off in Eco mode. Press and hold. So I'm now in Eco mode. Bike's on, and that's all you have to do. So I want to get the maximum amount of range, a little bit of throttle, and off we go. Now the thing about Eco mode is it limits the top speed, limits the torque, everything. Gives you the maximum amount of regen.
So this is where I think the bike shines the most, is around town local riding. When you're riding long distances on the freeway, well, the most you can ride is 100 miles, and you'll be lucky to get that at freeway speeds. But around town in eco mode, you're going to probably get between 100 and 130 miles of range comfortably, riding normally at local speeds around town. So bike handles great, brakes are really good, balance is really nice on the bike. It just handles really, really well. It's a very well designed, nice handling motorcycle.
Alright, so this is the beginning of the canyon. You'll have seen this canyon before. I've got a bunch of other videos on the channel. Welcome to watch those. So I'm very familiar with this canyon. We're just going to put the mode of the bike into canyon mode. Press mode. Eco, standard, sport, canyon. And then you push and hold, and now you're set in canyon mode. So this is supposedly, obviously it's for canyon riding, and we'll let the computer on the bike do what it needs to do with dampening the suspension, adjusting the ABS, the right amount of torque, and regenerative braking to make canyon riding really fun. That's the goal of this. So sport mode is the fastest and hardest setting with the least amount of regenerative power going back to the battery, and I don't want to tear through my battery and destroy it. I want to get home. I'm also brand new to this bike, so I really don't want to overdo it. I've only got this for 24 hours, so it's very important to me that I ride it safely and don't push it too hard. So this will be a conservative canyon ride in canyon mode on a zero SRS. So off we go. Hope we enjoy the ride. All right. So my opinion has not changed. This is an excellent canyon carving electric motorcycle. I think for its weight, size, the power delivery is incredibly smooth. it handles beautifully, and I wasn't even really pushing it. So time to put it into sport mode and see what the acceleration is like on that. So we go from Canyon, Rain, Eco, Standard, Sport. There we go. Push and hold. So now it's in sport mode. Alright, so I've still got 52% of my battery left, a range of 40 miles. Let's try sport mode. Full power. Alright, so Zero says that this bike will do 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds, and this definitely feels like a 3-second motorcycle. Fantastic acceleration, smooth delivery of power. Just get down on the tank, hold on tight, and open up that throttle. Wow. Alright, time for one more. So all of this is going to be recorded from GoPro helmet mount right here. Hopefully the audio is going to be recorded properly. If not, I have to do some voiceover. We'll see. All geared up. Here's the bike. And the bike, I charged this overnight on the slow charger, the trickle charger. And I'm at 98% battery. It still only says I have a range of 70 miles, but I think that's based on your riding style. Does that make sense? If I rode everywhere in eco mode, this would probably have a 130 mile range on the clock. But yesterday was a combination of canyon riding and sport riding, which sucks the battery dry very, very quickly. So saying that, I got to return this, and off we go. I've got my airbag tether. Make sure that's attached. Clunk click for every trip. If you're not wearing an airbag, please consider getting yourself one for Christmas. Do yourself a favour. Alright, with the side stand up and the power on, then you can go into the modes and press and hold the mode button once, hold it for a few seconds, it's going to flash. You can go through eco, standard, sport, canyon, rain mode, back to Eco. I'm just going to drive it in Eco because I haven't driven it in Eco yet, and see what it does. See how, if you don't do anything, it automatically, I think, locks into that Eco mode. I don't think you have to do anything. No, it's still flashing, so press and hold once. There you go, and it's locked in Eco mode now. So yeah, here we go. ABS is on, traction control is on. It's got a lean angle sensor with traction control and ABS built into it. As soon as you open the throttle, off she wants to go. Looks like rain. Hopefully I'm going to miss it.
Okay, so as I return the bike to Eagle Rider, what are my final thoughts on it? Well, it's a lovely looking motorcycle. I think it's very well designed. I think it looks extremely aerodynamic, because it is basically. It's got some awesome fairings on it, which keep you pretty well protected from the wind. And those fairings obviously help with the economy. It gives you a little better mileage than the naked bike would do. The cockpit is very well designed. It's super comfortable to ride. Very nice sort of upright seating position. It's a stylish looking bike. You know, it's got loads of power, loads of horsepower, loads of torque, more than you need. And that's really dependent on the mapping and the riding modes that you leave it in. The regenerative braking is excellent. It's got 4 different regeneration modes on it, so it can give you extra mileage if you require it, and better traction. It's got traction control, it's got anti-lock brakes. All of those things essential and excellent to have, so the fact that it's got them is wonderful. Biggest issue I've got with it is its range, and that's basically the main problem with all of these electric motorcycles right now. You're lucky if you get 100 miles of range. You can buy an extended range battery pack for these things, which will add another 15-20 miles to the range. But those things cost an extra couple of $1,000s, which makes the bike a lot more expensive for an extra 20 miles of range. So yeah, my big issue with the bike right now is just it does still take a couple of hours to fully charge, and that's on a fast charger. Otherwise it would take overnight charging on the trickle charger that it comes with, and then the range is pretty minimal. So it's not a long distance touring bike, it is a round town commuting bike if you've only got 30-40 miles to commute to work. Perfect. Very efficient and cheap way to, you know, get backwards and forwards from work if you're able to charge it up at home or charge it up at work. Electricity is still considerably cheaper than petrol, gasoline, fuel. What else? Love the front trunk where the gas tank is. Awesome. Lots of storage space, which is good. You can have panniers for the back if you wanted to add panniers. They are available. It is a super easy bike to ride. It's pretty effortless to ride this thing in a very relaxed, comfortable position. The windshield gives you decent protection. Fairing gives you decent protection. There's no maintenance on this thing. You don't have to lube the chain, you don't have to change the oil, you don't have to service it. Brake pads eventually will wear out, but not for a very long time, I'm sure. Brake fluid could be changed, but there's really nothing to service and fix on this except change the tyres and change the brakes when they wear out. Love the driving modes. The mapping that they've designed I think is excellent, and you can set it up to ride it however you want, whatever your style of riding is. I really enjoyed the canyon riding mode. Thought that was excellent. Eco mode, gives you the best amount of miles, most amount of regen, and the rain mode slows everything down and adds more boost to the traction control and ABS, so it keeps you safer in wet, slick conditions. So those are mainly positive things about the bike, except for the range anxiety you could have with it, and relatively slow charging on the supplied trickle charger. But you know, the bike isn't capable or designed of doing anything more than 100 to 120 miles, so it is what it is. You need to go into owning an electric motorcycle knowing that and using it for what it's designed for, which is round town riding, 20-30 mile commutes in each direction, unless you've got somewhere to charge when you get to work, and using it at the weekends in the canyons, as long as you don't burn out the battery too fast. So you've got to keep track of your percentage and how much juice you've got left in the tank. Other negatives, I would say, the windshield could be a little bit bigger. It would be nice if it went up and down electrically to give you a little bit more protection. That would be good. Other than that, the seat is not really that good. I thought it was initially, but after spending a couple of hours in it, it was pretty firm. So I would definitely consider adding an aftermarket seat, a little bit more comfortable, or a gel pad to it. It's good, but not great. So I would, definitely consider changing out the seat for an aftermarket one. Now, a lot of reviews I read about this bike said that its weight and balance and handling were weird as a result of it being an electric bike with the position of the battery. But I didn't find that at all. I completely disagree with those reviews. I think it handles beautifully. I think the weight distribution is excellent. I think the way it tips into corners is really good. And I didn't find that it oversteered or understeered. I didn't find the balance was weird on it. It's excellent. I think its physical design and the properties of the bike are really well thought out and really well executed. I didn't find anything odd at all about having a big heavy battery slung underneath me in place of an engine. I thought it was excellent. So remember, I've only lived with this thing for 24 hours, and to really get to know a motorcycle and how it performs and handles and how livable it is, it takes a lot longer than 24 hours. So for a short test ride and some round town riding and some freeway riding and some canyon riding, it's been a really good experience, and I've really enjoyed the bike for the time that I've ridden it. Would I want to own one of these? Probably not. There's something lacking in the visceral experience you get when you ride a motorcycle. It is exciting, I will definitely give it that. There is a ton of power and torque. It accelerates fantastically well, and the way the power is delivered to the wheels and tires is extraordinary. So you get that really powerful sport bike acceleration feeling if you open up the throttle on this thing in sport mode, and it's very addictive. but it doesn't have what I would consider to be a really fun personality. It's got multiple personalities, and I think I could definitely learn to live with it. And if gasoline engines ever get banned here in California, I think I would be quite happy owning one of these bikes and using it and enjoying it. But for as long as you can still buy petrol and gas at a reasonable cost, I would rather have a gas-driven motorcycle. I think they just have more personality, at least the ones that I've owned so far. That's not to say that this bike is bad. It's not. It's just very, very different, and it is a futuristic machine. Being able to travel 100 miles on a motorcycle on a single charge is pretty extraordinary. And I hope that over the next 5 to 10 years, they'll be able to double that range or possibly triple that range with battery technology. But we'll see. Right now, for spending the sort of money that this bike costs, this is a 2022 model. Used, you can pick them up for between $10,000 and $12,000. New, they're between $15,000 and $20,000, depending on how big the battery you get, and motor size, and whether it's got all the farkles and sparkles that you want. But that's a lot of money for an electric motorcycle, for any motorcycle. But as far as value for money for what this is, it's certainly a little bit cheaper than the Harley Livewire. I have ridden one, but I'm going to rent one for the day and test it and see how it compares to this particular bike. And then I'll have something to compare it to. But right now, this is the only electric motorcycle I've actually rented for 24 hours and lived with for a bit, rather than a very quick test ride. So I don't really have anything to compare it to. But I will say that if you are interested in one of these bikes, please go test ride it. Get the experience with your leg over the saddle and see what it's like. It's not for everyone, but it is a motorcycle for some who, want to ride electric motorcycles. Simple as that. And as far as doing what conventional motorcycles do, I think it does it extremely well.